And yeah, she's just so inspirational. I walked away from it like, adore.
What?
Adoring her.
Oh,
Is this again where
I can't understand what you're saying sometimes.
We need subtitles for Everton. Yeah.
Adore. I heard a door.
Adore. Adore.
Football Inside Out by COPA 90.
Yo, I'm Heath.
And I'm Chelsea.
And this is Football Inside Out, a podcast from COPA 90. We're coming to you every single day from the clubhouse in Lyon for the remaining matches of the 2019 Women's World Cup in France. And you can find us at Super 5, the bar in Lyon, screening the remaining match. And thanks to our friends at Visa, this was an audio podcast. Now it's a video podcast, so we can show our wonderful faces to the viewers around the world. So thanks to them, we're going to get a chance to do our remaining 2 podcasts in audio and video. Yeah.
So cool.
But if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.
Coming up today, I spent some time with Nadia Nadim, who's been on the show before to talk about a personal story, but this time she's just talking all things World Cup. And first, here are the 5 things that you need to know going into your day.
Number 1 of the 5 things you need to know going into your day: Sweden have finished 3rd in the World Cup after defeating England 2-1 in a 3/4 empty stadium. Kind of sad.
That is very sad, yeah. But, I mean, it's Brits, isn't it?
Do you think that it's an indicator that people don't care as much about the 3/4 match as the players do? Or is it just a lot to ask fans to now travel one more time? Because they were in Lyon, and if they made it to the final, they would be in Lyon, right?
Yeah, but people, like so many people, I think like 80% who was in the crowd anyway in the first rounds. All my friends were taking time off work, so if you're not going to win nothing, it's like you might as well just get paid, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Get the money, girl. Get the money.
We do have bills to pay. Number 2, it's the first time that England and Sweden had played in a Women's World Cup, and in the last 18 games, England had only won twice. So on paper, it didn't look good from the start. Do you think that there was just so much hope on winning the World Cup that they kind of just left it all in their last match and didn't have much left?
No, I think every game we've gone into, we've thought like we might win, right? So it's like not changed for me. It was like the same feeling I had against USA.
2 early goals though.
Yeah, exactly. And then I went the bar.
No, I mean, it just felt like that was the most flat that I had seen them, almost like a little bit defeated from the moment. Maybe after that first goal, they said like, oh man, it's going to be a long day. It's also really hot, by the way. It's not supposed to be hot anymore. I don't want to talk about weather anymore, but it's still really hot. Number 3, the Visa player of the match is Sofia Jakobsen, scored the match winner.
Yeah, cut in, right foot.
Yeah.
Oomph.
Also one of those ones where you know that entire back line's looking at each other to say somebody step out and put pressure on them. She had just enough of a look, was able to get far enough into the box to get a decent look on the back post. And at this level, it's some, you're talking about the best teams in the world. They will punish you if you let them get that far into the box, and she did.
Yeah, she did.
Scored the match winner.
Took a chance.
Well deserved.
Good goal. Number 4, Chelsea striker Alvaro Murata is set to join Atletico Madrid on a permanent basis once his 18-month loan spell with the club comes to an end. What do you think about that?
He's one of the. I read another thing about him recently that when he does make this transfer, he'll be like one of the most expensive players ever with all of his transfers put together. It's really, like over a couple $100 million or something.
I live right next to Stamford Bridge, yeah. So I get to go to the Chelsea games sometimes if there's like someone outside like not wanting to go. And I've seen him, and I'm just like a few times. I don't know, last season when he was at Chelsea.
He's got so much talent that every coach thinks that they can get the most out of him. Every manager thinks that they can change him.
He's not my kind of player at all. If I was a manager, I would not want I'd want like a Suarez or like a, I don't know, Michael Owen or someone small, lower sense to gravity.
A Liverpool player?
No, but like when I grew up watching them, basically like so just quick and small, and like he's very
like Fernando Torres, for example.
No, he was a bit more elongated. He was not as Peter Crouch elongated, but he was still elongated. But yeah, he's not my kind of player, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, that's fair. And finally, number 5, long after tonight's Women's World Cup final, the U.S. men's national team will play against Mexico in the Gold Cup final. And the U.S. men's national team is the only team that's yet to concede a goal in the Gold Cup. And the only team that's actually gone on to win the entire tournament before that without conceding a goal was Mexico twice in 96 and 2003. So another matchup. It's the final that everybody expects in CONCACAF, and here they are playing again.
Yeah.
So those are the 5 things you need to know going into your day. Wow. We are nearing the end of our daily podcast journey.
We are. It's kind of like Christmas, but like the day after Christmas, when it's like you're over it, but you wish it wasn't.
Yeah, but like you are like would be like the parent that only comes home on Christmas because you've only done a couple episodes of this.
I have.
You don't know the trauma that
Listen,
we've had.
I'm out there bringing home the bacon.
Yeah,
okay?
that's true.
Do you want presents?
Yeah, do you want presents or not? No, it's been fun though. Today's like the first cool day. I had the windows open and a breeze came through, and I was like almost wondering what that was.
Yeah, well, obviously, we moaned a lot about the weather yesterday, and I feel like I shouldn't moan. I'm English, right? So I should clinch every bit of sunlight I get, but it has really been like too hot.
But fundamentally, moaning about weather is
British.
Like British. That is about as
For
British
sure.
as it gets.
And I
Like,
hate talking about the weather, so please let's move on. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
cooler, and hopefully the girls tonight can play like in no heat, no stress.
yeah, so it's the day of the final.
Yeah.
The day that we never thought would arrive when we first got here.
I can't talk to Americans about this though, because you're just sat there like, I wish people, well, actually people can see you now, but like I wish I wasn't having this conversation with you, because, you know, you always knew that you were going to get there really, didn't you?
I didn't actually. I mean, I was going into this tournament, I knew that the U.S. were favorites because they were like current champions, but I didn't think that they would have they haven't had an easy run, but
Oh,
they've taken
come
down France
Yeah.
and then England. Like, I thought for sure one of those were going to like sort of disrupt them and knock them out.
So like on a scale of 1 to 10, what was the chance of you making the final? Be honest. Because I think it's a solid 10 for most Americans.
It's easy to say 10 now, but like I would say going into the tournament, I thought it would be like a 5 or a 6.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the rest of the world is catching up, and the U.S. created so much controversy throughout this World Cup in terms of like over celebrating and the Thailand game and all the way through that I thought eventually, like when teams play against the U.S., you play it every time like a World Cup final, right? Whenever you play a team that's better than you or considerably better than you on paper or historically, you play it like a final, which means you have nothing to lose. You're the extreme underdog and you just play. Whereas the U.S. has everything to lose every time that they play. So I thought if you could have the right combination of enough players not having a great day for the U.S. and a team playing with nothing to lose, that's a recipe for an upset, and it just hasn't happened. Like, I mean, England was right there
Yeah.
off of a penalty.
Doomed.
But, like, if they score that, I think the U.S. crumbles. In the same way that I thought that if there was 10 more minutes in the match against France would have scored. I mean, I know we're playing 100-minute matches now because thanks to VAR, everything's like 100 minutes. But if there was, like, every time the U.S. has been scored on, essentially, there is a massive momentum shift where you can see that they are very, very fragile. When England scored, they were very fragile for a while.
Yeah, but it's interesting hearing you say that, because I've been obviously to most of the US games, been traveling around.
Huge fan. Thank you for coming.
I've just been, you know, weighing up the competition for the girls, but I feel like every single fan I spoke to, it was American, was just like, yeah, we're gonna win. From like the, you know, it hadn't even.
What do you want them to say?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
Like,
Like,
I've traveled all the way here from across the world. I've spent all my savings. I hope.
No,
we're
but
probably
they're
gonna
just
lose.
so confident, like so confident. You know, it's like, it's just interesting to hear you say that
What do you want
you
them
were a
to?
5.
What do you want them to be?
Well, like
Not
more like
confident?
you say, like, you know, never know what could
Yeah, but
happen.
I-
It's football, but no, they're like, yeah, we're gonna win everything because we're the best, and it's like, oh God.
Yeah, but I think you at a certain point in this tournament, you either had to I know a lot of Americans that turn their backs on the U.S.
Okay, I've not met none of them yet.
Like a lot of people, because the controversy was that like what's better, like tournament play or the greater good of the women's game, right? The U.S. losing allows more teams to advance in countries that are developing in football, right? That's a better thing for women's football moving forward.
For sure.
It's not a good thing when the U.S. runs through it and then we just get reminded of like kind of where progress is in some places. If France or England beat the U.S., then that's better for women's football. If the U.S. had been beat in the group stages, it's better for women's football. So a lot of Americans were kind of torn because they had this like ultimate arrogance or confidence from the very start, from the Thailand game on to like the tea celebration. By the way, did you see what's her name from Game of Thrones? Did anybody see that
No.
today? She came out in support of Alex Morgan for doing the celebration because she said it was a tribute to her.
Okay.
And she came out saying, I stand by Alex Morgan's celebration. This wasn't like a shot at British people. It was like a tribute to
Someone from Game of Thrones.
what's the girl? The redhead girl.
Sansa.
Yeah.
She goes out with Joe Jonas.
Yeah. Her.
Have you seen her Instagram? They look like the cutest couple, by the way. I'm like, oh, they've
Yeah.
got like 2 little husky
Did
dogs.
they just get married?
Did they?
I don't know. Engaged? Something? I don't know.
don't know. The relationship's definitely getting serious though, because MTV News keep posting them. I'm like, oh, something's happening, baby.
Is MTV News the place where you
MTV
go for serious?
News, mate, link in bio and all that. I'm like, bang on that. I'm like,
Yeah.
who's getting another song then? Let's go.
Oh yeah. But yeah, but that whole controversy's allowed people to be like sort of separated because they're like, oh, they're so arrogant. It's not good for the game.
Listen, it's not arrogance. Like, I'm a Liverpool fan, right? And everyone can't stand us because when we win something, we're like, wow.
You
But
guys win something very rarely.
we've won more than Arsenal, who you support. So
Yeah, but like,
I-
how far are we
you
going
need to
back
just
on that?
Relax, Heath.
Live and die in the Champions League, huh?
Enjoy this World Cup, mate, because it'll be a long time before you win anything else again. Anyway,
It's funny that literally 60 days ago you wouldn't be saying this.
but now I can. And that's like Americans who you say,
Yeah.
well, we were champions. I'm like, yeah, so let's talk about 6, baby.
You're Champions League champions.
Anyway, but that's the point. I am a Liverpool fan, so I talk, and everyone hates us. So I get it. Like, I kind of have this thing with the Americans.
You're
where I'm like,
overvaluing how much people hate you. I think we don't think about you at all till you win something.
but can I just say, I actually really want you to win it. Now, I love Netherlands and stuff. I know a few of the girls there, but the whole Trump Meghan thing that went on, and he's like, win it first before you get invited to the White House and all that. I was like, I want you to win it now. And I hope she scores like a hat trick and then just like, I don't know, does a celebration towards him.
But that's the thing that people are arguing against, though, is that like Megan Rapinoe's fighting the U.S. president, whereas people are fighting for just rights to play football. And that's the difference is like, oh, your conversation is about fighting with the president of your country. But there's other countries that are like just fighting for a resource to have a professional.
No, but she was fighting for LGBT community because the whole argument started with someone videoing it and someone going, oh, you're going to go to the White House? And she was like, I'm not going to the White House because obviously he doesn't.
Can't curse on this show or video. You have to tell that story again.
Okay. Anyway, so obviously it started from there because, you know, he doesn't stand for nothing that she stands for as a woman. So, yeah, we fight for football, or she's fighting for football, but she's also fighting for other things, and I respect that.
Yeah, but that's, again, what the argument is that, like, it's fighting for things that, like fighting for, like, it's such a separation from what other people are fighting for that it's losing, the people that are at the bottom are losing their voice because this is fighting for something on a larger scale and a more advanced level that other people haven't even established rights yet.
Yeah,
versus
but
like,
I mean, she's her own person, you know what I mean? And she's standing up for a lot of other people who are maybe not having a voice. So it's an argument in it. We can agree to disagree on that one, but I rated it for that.
I'm with you on this. I'm just
it?
saying what the argument is from people
I've
is
seen
saying
so
that
many comments, to be fair, on a Twitter because I went on and like retweeted it and I was like, yeah, you're a G. But so many people were like, how dare you come at our president? Like, I'm like, mate.
Yeah, I mean that's a completely different part of this whole thing. That's like Twitter, like that's Twitter
yeah, but
in
it's
general.
still people,
like,
right?
Yeah, like it's Twitter in general. It's more of just like the argument of people saying, is it better for the U.S. to be out or in for the advancement of everything in women's football, right? Like, it's one thing to talk about the LGBTQ community in your argument with the president. It's another thing that like everybody who's like hyper conscious about women's football and the pivotal moment that we're in or we're trying to create, and how that's a distraction from what we're trying to do because it's discussing something that it's basically that like there's all these tentacles and everybody's fighting for the same things, but there's this fear that all of this, like the people who are actually needing to advance are the ones that aren't, because there is much bigger things at play, if that makes sense.
It's hard, isn't it? Because like she's in a different space now. So I'm sure, you know, if it was 10 years ago and she wasn't the amazing player she is now and the star player, then she might, you know, be in another conversation. But now, obviously, I don't know, she's at that point in her career where she feels like, well, I'm a professional now, like I'm a star player, like I guess she makes decent money, and now she's wanting to fight for other stuff. I do get it. It's just,
well, she's using her she's using her platform, which is great, and I'm for that. It's just the other side of the argument is what people are saying. I think now I have to ride for the U.S. through the end because they've been so loud and bold and proud and whatever that it's allowed the rest of the world and other people, whether within our country of the U.S. and outside, to just label them however they want, right? Mm-hmm. Because they've been kind of like just loud the whole way through. That if they do win, there's nothing better than a loud team that then just follows through and wins. Yeah. But the whole world is trying to take you down from that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I definitely respect you. It's like, no matter how much, obviously, every single time you play, everyone wants you guys to get beat. But that's so much pressure. And I think, you know, yous are like machines. When you watch them, they're like robots, and they like, I don't know, it's mad. But like I respect the team a lot, even though, you know, I don't really like you chatting 24/7, but it's fine.
But it just is what it is. You know, we're in a final. So Chelsea, you had a chance to talk to Visa athlete Nadia Nadim. She's been on the show before.
Yeah. What
but
a woman.
This time she was talking about not her personal story, but the tournament, right?
Yeah, we had a good little chat. We talked about a few things. So, and yeah, she's just so inspirational. Walked away from it like adore.
What?
Adoring her.
Oh,
Is this again what
I can't understand what you're saying sometimes. Well, here's Nadia Nadim with the time you spent with her.
Okay, Nadia, so it's summer. We're here in Lyon. Denmark aren't here, so what are you doing here?
Well, I've been here actually the entire World Cup. I've been working with Being Sport. I have my own digital show called Be Inspired. You know, they had the opportunity, the chance to be able to, you know, spread the message about sports, meet inspiring women like Abby, Casey Stoney, Ibtihaj Mohammed. And and I was like, why not? I know it's my vacation, but I think, sometimes you have to do a little more to change some stuff you want to change.
Have you enjoyed it, your time here?
Yeah, it's been nice. I've watched the World Cup. It's been amazing so far. I've watched a lot of games.
What was your favourite game then?
Definitely Scotland against Argentina. It was amazing just because the atmosphere, you know, the passion that the Argentinian players showed at the end. I don't know. I had goosebumps after the game, and it was one of the most exciting games in terms of, like, you know, VAR, retake. It had it all, and
I felt so bad on Scotland now.
I agree, because my friends, you know, I was supporting Scotland because I was wearing Emsley's shirt, but at the end I just like, you know what? That's the best part about football. Anything can happen, and I've just been like super proud of seeing what the level's been. It's been amazing. You know, the quality of football's been so good. Like US, England, France, they've played such beautiful like football.
Do you want to express your opinion on VAR? Like I feel the whole world has.
No, yeah, I know. You know what? I think it's a good, obviously it's a good technology. It's going to help the game, especially the big games where the small margin is going to decide everything. You know, it feels like we haven't spent enough time to educate the people sitting with the decisions, you know. And sometimes you see some stuff during the games against, France, US. There was no VAR decision the entire game, and I was like, and there were points, you know, after the game that if you watch it, you're like,
Yeah.
So it's been a bit, I don't know, at the beginning of the group stages, there was a lot of decisions with VAR, but then suddenly, I don't know if they had a meeting, we're like, guys, we need to chill down with this, you know, and then you haven't seen a lot of it. I think used right, it's an amazing tool. It's going to help the game, definitely.
But it's like now nobody wants to celebrate a goal because it might go to VAR and then it might be ruled
Yeah,
out. So it's like I can see the players sometimes like look
Random, is this the goal? And then the refs are like,
yeah,
and everyone is there. It was like,
oh,
wait.
Ellen White.
But you think there was no offside?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it's
Yeah.
offside, but I mean, surely,
so close.
come on. Obviously, you just mentioned the US then. You've played with a few of the girls before. Do you think they're going to lift it again?
I'm not gonna lie, yeah, definitely. I don't see how, you know, Holland, massive respect. We played them in the Euro finals 2 years ago. Now they're in a World Cup final. Huge respect. But I don't think they've been playing beautiful football, or like they haven't been one of the teams that you'd be like, oh, I'm so excited to watch them play. Against Japan, extremely lucky. The VAR saves them. Against Italy it was, you know, if they want to win it, they have to change something. But I just don't know what it is. What's gonna help? No, you know, realistically, because I know obviously some Dutch players, and I just US is they want it badly. I think.
Are you going to be at the final?
Definitely, I'm gonna be there for sure. And I just hope for a really good game. You know, for the sake of the game. I want an intense final. Action, drama, passion, VAR, decisions, wrong or right, whatever.
Yeah.
I just mix up.
A few goals, all right then.
Retakes. But I'm super excited, you know, it's been an amazing World Cup.
Okay, so obviously you've played with a lot of the players in the tournament. Who has been a standout player for you?
A player that I love playing with and hanging out with, and is Tobin Heath. I think she is amazing. Every time she's on the ball, you know something's gonna happen. I think she's been brilliant. Rapinoe has been awesome. Nikita Parrish, like Ellen Light, you mentioned, she's cold in front of goal. You know, you don't see it the entire game, but then she's there. There's been a lot of like highlights, like the Dutch striker, Vivian has been awesome.
PFA Player of the Year.
Yeah, you know what? She's 22.
Yeah.
It's amazing. She scored 67 now.
She's on fire. Yeah.
Like for that's crazy. But I feel and then not to mention Crystal Dunn, because she's a defensive player. You don't really talk about the defensive players so much, but I think she was the reason France lost against US. Player of the match in my eyes. So many great players, and this final,
it's going to be good. Bring it on.
Well, obviously Nadia there said that her favourite game was Scotland-Argentina. What's been your favourite game so far, do you reckon? It was a good one, like.
US-England. Oh. Well, also,
of course,
I've watched the iteration of your song before that of It's Coming Home to Love,
yes,
which I think is great that your song iterates, but also I know what the original song was.
Yeah, but listen, I was just so showing support.
Honestly, working for like a British-US company, going to the last World Cup and kind of like not having, the US team wasn't there. So sort of falling in love with the English team as they went on this run and all of the beer throwing, which I haven't seen as much of this time around. But just being connected to a country and watching them come to life around a tournament and come more together. Obviously, US and England both politically in really rough spots, But to see everybody come together around a tournament is like, as cliche as it sounds, is a really cool thing. So the US-England game was my favorite. I wish it deserved to be a final, I think. And then France game was also
Was
good.
it a penalty for you?
I actually haven't gone back to watch it because I don't need to. I don't need to. Had they scored that, I would watch it 1,000 times. That's the reality. I just haven't. I follow all of the US like broadcasters, and they're all geo-blocked here. So
we were talking about this yesterday, though, right? Like, do you think that every single penalty should be a goal? Like, do you just think it's 12 yards, bang, put the ball down, it should be a goal instantly? Because I was having this argument being like, listen, Messi's missed, like the best players in the world miss penalties, and Nadia was saying to me, it's the pressure, and Ethan, a friend of ours, he was like, no, if you put that ball down and you can hit it as hard as you want, this is how he talks as well, that should be a goal. And I was like, well, what do you think?
Like, he's saying it should be a goal
He's
every
saying
time?
Every single time, no matter. If you're a professional footballer, you should be able to hit the target.
Yeah, I mean, no.
I
don't think,
disagree.
Yeah, like, there is an art form to that. Like, there is goalkeepers that save, like, close to 50% of their penalties.
Yeah, and if they go the right way, like, they've got, like, a lot of chance of getting it right. And the whole penalty...
It is now with the penalty thing where you can't, like,
so
move your feet off of the line.
I hate that
Yeah,
rule.
but don't you remember 2005...
I was probably just born then.
Yeah, you were. So clearly you wouldn't
In the
remember a
womb.
Champions League final.
I remember.
Do you remember your team was in a Champions League final?
Which one are we talking about?
It was the last time you guys won a trophy. 2005.
Yeah, of course I know. I'm
okay,
joking.
but do you
Istanbul,
remember how far off the line?
Jerzy Dudek.
Yeah.
Oh, what a guy.
It's like 7 steps off the line. He could have touched the ball on the penalty. So I get the point of the rule, but now it's just more of like letter of the law becomes a very like sticky or tricky situation. But I do think with that rule, you should finish every single one.
Yeah.
Because power will beat a goalkeeper every time if they can't move. Like if you go with power to any sort of corner.
Yeah, they're not getting there, are they?
Placement, you have a chance, but goalkeepers now are like freezing and they're trying to like read it. Or you have to just commit early, and committing early is a risk of like coming off your line early. So I think you should be finishing most of them now. I mean, that penalty against the US was terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Really poorly taken.
That's pressure. That's what Nadia was saying. You know, it was so good like to talk to her because I know that when I play, like one-on-one situations or anything, like I just get nervy inside. Like, don't know, out of 3 times I'll probably put one away, and like I'm not cool at all at one-on-ones. But she was just like, yeah, like just. I'm in my head, I'm ice cold, like, and she's just had this no pressure thing about it. I was like, I need some of that.
Yeah.
But the VAR thing, we spoke about the penalty, and then we spoke about like the offside thing. So for me, I just want 2 things changed in football. Like that's about it.
That's it.
The
Okay.
goalkeeper line thing.
We get that. Just only 2 major things changed
and
in football.
The offside thing, where it's like, it is the rule supposed to be any part of the body that you can play the ball with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, I swear to God, like in what was it, the Cameroon game or something, an arm was off. But like, you can't. That doesn't count, right? Because you can't play the ball with that.
Yeah. But they called offside
Yeah,
for
they
it?
called offside, I swear.
But it would have been her shoulder then that was leaning.
But it's like, I just think that's like
So
too
what
much
would
on the
how
defensive.
would you like to change that? All right, you're standing in front of the entire FIFA committee right
Yeah.
now, okay? And
I did
they're
have
like,
a really valid point
they're
and I
like,
forgot it.
Chelsea Grimes, please present your argument. Well, you already started with so that's you've
my
lost.
argument would be that, you know, I just do feel like it's more on the defensive side, like right now. Like if it's the arm, that's like not gonna or you know, the way like
What position do you play?
I play number 10 just behind the striker.
Oh, that's weird that you're trying to suggest that the game become more offensive. I'm now presenting the
I'm never
counter argument,
offside.
and
No,
you're
but you know, like
now showing bias towards what you're
but
trying
you know,
to change.
like a sprint race, right? Usain Bolt or whatever. Like, is it just the beginning of the head or the whole head's got to be over, or what? Is it just like the touch of it?
I don't think it's head. I think it's chest.
Is it chest?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can't we just do that as a rule then?
No.
Why?
Like you're saying, like the chest should be the only thing that's offside.
Well, I just feel like the arm can't surely count. Pick
The arm
another
doesn't
body
count.
part. Or like one leg or something.
The leg does count. No, it's shoulder down to
No, but
the
like
foot.
a full leg, like it was the back of a heel. I seen another one like this a heel this much. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, but that's just the reality.
Yeah, but it's just long.
No, it's long, but like I understand your argument. It's just not.
I know, but it's just I just hate it. I think it's too close. Like at least a full body then. A full body.
Full body.
Yeah,
Like,
that would be better. A full
what would be
body.
the point of offside then if you have a full body to be so that you would be two full, like make sure you're
then
two
you'd be
full bodies?
Yeah, no, one full body and you're offside. Right.
That would defeat the purpose of the defenders having to line themselves up and play a line on somebody. They would just keep dropping because you would never trust that. Like,
No, they wouldn't.
I
It'd
promise
still
you,
be
if
like
it was a
normal
full
offside.
body, then they would argue that a heel is the difference of a full body or not. You're just changing the rule to a different thing, and then you would still complain about the heel being the thing that
But
called it
this
offside.
wasn't my argument. I did have a good one, and I was having a Twitter conversation with someone. I forgot it, but as soon as I find the argument that I had, I'm a bit hungover today, so
Are you? Yeah. I would have never known.
I know I look Greek, don't I?
A lot of the arguments I've had with people around this World Cup, especially like the anti-US contingent, and they are very, very strong on the internet. Right now, we're seeing a final of probably the two best fan bases. So the two fans that have traveled the best have if it was a World Cup of fans, that's what the final would be.
Yeah.
Holland against the US. England showed up for sure. There was in that stadium, US against England, there was a lot of English fans, but just the pure numbers and commitment. I like my argument to people is if you are against the US national team doing well, or you're for your country doing well, show up.
Yeah.
And this isn't like an elitist, like, can you afford to show up? I'm talking about the people who I'm having arguments with that probably have access to the opportunity to do that, but would rather sit at home and be keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Like, show up. Show up in numbers and support your team.
For sure. That's
Be
one
loud.
thing that you can't take away from you guys. Like, the fans, I spent a day with the Outlaws as well, and oh my gosh, they're just like, you know, I think one of them spent like over $40,000.
Yeah, that's just stupid, but...
Well, I mean,
it's stupid.
But, okay, it's a lot of money, yeah, but maybe that's they're just so behind you guys, and I was like, you know, it'd be quite hard to find that anywhere else. And then I spent the day with the Dutch fans, and they done the parade, the march, and it was like...
Show me that march again that you're doing? That's
it's also like
it's a robot march?
The Peter Crouch.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah, thank you. Dancing is also in my abilities. But yeah, so and they were nuts, and they had the Dutch music playing, and they've got like stereos everywhere in the orange, and it did feel like a proper party with them.
Well, and they like those fans that when we've talked about this a little bit, but when Holland won the Euros, right, women, they hosted it, and they weren't expecting there to be any sort of like real like fans showing up locally.
Yeah.
And they just started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And Holland went on to win it and like made a whole generation of new fans for the women's sport. Then they've come here and they've rallied behind them every single game, created a home field advantage for them every single game. And now they're in a final, which shows you the power of the fan, the power of the support, and how big it is. Not just like, I know we're fighting for all kinds of different things, but just like the support in general is another thing that helps increase awareness, because you tell a friend who tells a friend that like sort of word of mouth marketing. Now you see like the traveling carrots that they have, like thousands and thousands of Dutch fans showing up and going crazy in the streets.
Did you
and
just call the fans a carrot?
Yeah, they're dressed as carrots.
Okay.
Yeah. They're traveling carrot, like they're in carrot costumes.
Oh, okay. I've not seen one. I just thought you were just saying because the orange, and I was like, okay.
If you spent a day with the Dutch fans,
they're called
really
oranges, right? They say
Yeah.
orange.
Say that again?
Orange?
That sounds like a French Dutch person.
This is actually me talking Scouse. It's just a normal way for the orange. But yeah, it is true. You know, they say 12th man or woman, whatever, you know, it does help, right? Like if you're there and you're going into a 50-50 tackle and everyone's like, "Wah," pumping you up, like you just jump up, or like it does give you an extra bit of...
You just brought up a random thought that I had the other day, and I haven't had a chance to ask anybody, so why not ask right now?
Okay, God.
When you play, do you say man on the pitch?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I say man on.
Is that something that needs to change?
I mean, I'm easy with it. It depends. I mean, if someone turned around to me and was like, excuse me, I'd rather you say woman on, then I'd be like, okay, no worries, cool, whatever. But I've just said that since, you know.
From an efficiency standpoint, though, woman on is going to get cut down to something, right?
Girl on.
Girl on?
Girl on. Girl.
Yeah.
I say that all the time.
What's the
That's
what's
no
the-
different
yeah.
to me, mate.
Oh, wow. Here it comes. Here it all comes. It all coming
You're going
up.
very red at the minute.
You're going more red than I am.
I?
Yeah. It's okay. Well,
That's just
yeah.
last night's gin and tonics repeating on me.
So, but it doesn't bother you?
No, it doesn't. Not at all. I'm easy with stuff like that. Yeah.
So for the final, what's your prediction?
I think obviously you think America are going to win, right? Because you're American. But I don't know. I hope it's 3 or 4 goals in it.
Yeah.
I'd like that. Like, and then I'd feel like it was decent. Obviously, underdogs. I always root for the underdogs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be supporting Netherlands and Viv up top. She's the homie.
There it is. Streaks.
Yeah.
Viv made another episode of this. We're on like 15 or 16 now.
What a
Must be.
player though. She's so good. She's so sweet. Like, I just love her as a person.
She is.
So yeah, I'll be supporting them. But I can't take nothing away from you guys. And like you said, everyone, it's just that when I actually think about the US, I just think it must be so difficult. Like, even though you're in the best team, that's so much pressure. Like, everyone wanting you to lose every single game. And, you know, it's 1-1 in like the 85th minute or something. I saw Rapinoe say, you know, we always think, even if we're 2-0 down, that we're still going to win. And it reminded me of, like, you know, the 90s Man United team when you just know that they were going to score or something was going to
I thought
happen.
you were going to say 90s Liverpool team.
No, we didn't win any. And when I was like, when I was growing up, it's just our time's coming back now, coming back around.
Yeah.
But it was like that, and you just give me that same feeling. Yeah. It's like, and you can't take nothing away from that. It's an amazing side, and with the whole Trump thing, I just want you to like take the World Cup.
Yeah, it's one of the US team is one of those things where if they can win this, then it truly is like the dream team that we had in basketball, where they, like, all the best NBA players from the 90s that went in and just crushed everyone and became this thing in history for us of like, do you remember the dream team? And this team is the same thing if they can repeat winning 15 and 19 and do it as loud and sort of like, everybody wants personalities in football till you have personalities in football, right? Yeah. And then you're like, whoa, chill it out. Like, nobody wants that. Because if I was approaching it, I'd be like, we're the champions. Everybody's trying to take us down. Let's just like be quiet.
But the best
Let's just like ride through quietly.
You can't though, because even our chat with you know, Ada Hegerberg, and she said you need egos like in championship winning teams, like you need it, and I do believe that. Like, when's the last time you really saw, you know, a team win anything and they haven't had like at least one controversial player in the team? It's just like.
And the weird part is that they have a lawsuit against the federation happening, right? They've got the Trump stuff going on. They're the current champions. The players and the coach apparently don't get along at all.
Okay.
So there's like talk that if the U.S. were to win it, they would win it in spite of Jill Ellis. Okay. But Jill Ellis has lost 1 World Cup game in 2 World Cups. So the players have either rallied for her or against her, but somehow amongst all of these issues, they're now in a final against Holland, which is pretty crazy. Like, that's a lot of pressure to carry over and over and over again.
I mean, you must have like a really solid unit. Do you know how the team gets along? Are they like super tight or?
There was like Lindsey Horan, who's one of the best midfielders in the world, was benched for a match, and that kind of spread like wildfire. And it's an easy way and we don't know what's happening inside the camp. Maybe it was like, we're going to rest you, or we need you deeper in the tournament, because I would expect her to probably be in the starting team in the final. But like those are the things that can tear away a team because she's somebody also that's a big personality, big ego,
Yeah.
and she's been benched. They're just a deep squad. They've made,
Yeah.
I think against Chile, they had like 6 or 7 changes. And if you were a general fan of football, you would have known all 11 girls on that team. You would have heard of them before. They're at like the forefront of women's football. They're like 20 players deep, 22 players deep, which is unique. So I think, and Abby Wambach actually had told us about her role in 2015 when we had her on the show, which was that this is arguably has been rated like one of the 2 or 3 best footballers ever. And in 2015, she was kind of a sub player, a bench player, and had to sort of change her perspective. And I think that the U.S. is so good and knows that, like, I think if they were a team that was maybe had a chance of winning, you'd see a lot more fighting within the team if players didn't start or whatever, because everybody wants to have their moment. But knowing that if you can put the team first, you have honestly the best shot of anybody to win a trophy, I think is a pretty easy thing to rally behind, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's on the day. I do think I'll take it home, but I just want a few goals. What do you reckon the score's going to be, though?
I don't see there not being goals. I see that it maybe like 3-1 to the U.S.
Okay.
Sounds maybe a little bit too confident for a final, and finals usually disappoint in terms of like the quality because both teams are sort of, it becomes more of a don't make mistakes and let it slowly open up.
Definitely going to be a penalty or something VAR, right?
Yeah. I mean, VAR has been the one narrative that you can count on for every single match, so I expect that to happen again. But that's all the time we have for again. We flew through it.
That was fun.
Hopefully you've sweat out a little bit of that hangover. All right, so that is it. That's all the time we have. But big ups to Visa for allowing us to bring this to more places and faces. We've got one more episode of this. You won't be with us, but we appreciate you stepping in. And for the most part, I understood almost everything more than the last episode. But thank you so much for progress. That's what it's all about. That's the narrative of all this is progress.
Yes, football's the winner.
Yeah. But we will be back tomorrow, and make sure you guys comment, like, and subscribe.